right, I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. We're gonna take the first few minutes and review minutes for June 18th and then July 2nd workshop meetings. We have a year-end or review year-end planning board budget. July 2nd workshop details, the Watson Woods subdivision final plan, other business, and then motion to adjourn. So just give us a few seconds, minutes. So we don't need more time with the June 18th minutes. I don't see anything that needs to be updated, so I move to accept the minutes for June 18th as is. All those in favor? Okay. June 18th then, July 2nd workshop. Basically, Andy and myself for this. Yeah, well, JP not being here. So. Yeah, there's the three of us here.
In absence. Sneaky workshop. Let's see what guys. Is that the way it goes? Shift down.
Do you have anything update for?
No.
All right. I move that the workshop minutes for July 2nd are accepted as is. All those in favor? Okay. Those are done. Review year-end planning board budget. Proposal for budget committee.
We should probably address Watson Woods before we do any of that, right? I mean, why do we want them sitting here while we go through budget issues?
Do you can make a motion to.
All right, then I make a motion, we address the Watson Woods subdivision next.
A second?
Second, yeah, makes sense.
Those in favor?
I mean, we can't juggle applicants, but this is not happening.
Right.
Alright, so we're going to move on to the Westonwood subdivision final plan. We have a issue date receipt of the application, review and determine completeness of application, and schedule a public hearing upon determining the completion of the application. I guess at this point, I'll
Okay.
hand it over. and-
Yeah, my name is Tom Greer, representing Nick Wadsworth. What I thought I would do tonight is, we provided you a book with a lot of stuff in it. I thought I would just flip through each one of the sections so that you know what's in there in its entirety. And then tell you a little bit that we've updated the plan, and then we can go through any of the completeness issues that the board wants to go through. Okay. The application starts off with a section 1 that has a cover letter. The cover letter does give you 7 items that we've either changed or amended, and I'll just go down through those quickly so you know what's coming up. We've reduced the number of driveways to 4. We provided a landscape plan for the buffer by Tony Mensch. We've added backup septic systems for each one of the lots so that there are 2 shown. We've provided a wildlife impact study by Jones Associates. We've attached revised MDOT permits, which show the 450 feet of site distance, and email from MDOT that supports that. We've provided 8.66 acres of open space to the project, which is in excess of the 10% the board had requested. And we've provided a draft of homeowner association documents, restrictions, and easements. And I think those cover most of the items that were in the preliminary plan approval. Section 2 is the application itself filled out, and it has attached to it what we've put as a ordinance compliance narrative. Essentially, we've taken the ordinance and given you sections as to where you can find responses to all of the items in the ordinance that we need to address. The third section is deeds and boundary line adjustments that have been in there. Section 4 is the homeowner restrictions. You can read through those. The performance guarantee, there's no road construction associated with it, but we have given you landscape costs to do the landscaping for the buffer piece. We've also provided a letter from, on the next section, a letter from Hillock Well Drilling, and we've provided background that there's adequate water in that area, and provided some background well data. Section 7 is the abutters list. Section 8 is the letter from the fire chief on fire supply. Section 9 is just a location plan showing the location of the area on the USGS map. Section 10 is the traffic letter that was, I think, previously given to the board. Section 11 is the high-intensity soils map. Not the map itself, but the text and report that goes along with it. Section 12 is the septic system test pit results that show passing test pits on the lots. Section 13 is the wetland delineation that goes across the site. Section 14 is the wildlife report from Jones Associates. Section 15 is all of the MDOT traffic permits, along with the email from Anthony Frontoni that supports the entrance permits. And section 16 is the stormwater report. And that has been updated as of May 3rd. It reflects a little larger house lots. When we were playing around with it, we've shown a little bigger houses on them and driveways, and we had to adjust it because some of the driveways now share an entrance, so there is more driveway to get from the entrance over to the building envelope across the lot. So we've adjusted the stormwater for that section. And with that, yeah, we have, I think there are like 10 plans that we have. The first one is the boundary survey. The second one is the subdivision plan, and that's where we show the additional open space as well. The next one is erosion control and details. They're pretty simple. The slope plan was given to you previously. That's in color, that shows all of the little pieces of the site that's greater than 20%. The existing condition plan goes in the lots to show where they are, but generally gives you the topo, Route 160, and the test pit locations. The C 1.5 is the tax maps. The tax map, just to give you an idea of where the lots are going around it. The shared driveways require easements, and putting all of that information on the subdivision plan becomes cumbersome, hard to read because of the numbers. So what we did was we put together a separate plan to show the driveway easements across the lot so we can have shared driveways. Tony Mensch's plan is L1, which is the landscape plan. It shows the buffers that we're filling in. The holes in the buffer were located by a GPS, and then he used that to fill in where the buffer was light, so to speak. If we do a site walk, I think we can use this as a guide to say we're doing the right thing there. D1 is the drainage plan that looks at the whole site. And the last one is the high-intensity soils map for the site itself. With those items, we believe we've addressed all of the items in the subdivision plan and that the application ought to be complete. Obviously, the board may have issues with any one of those particular items, but until we accept it complete and get into the discussion of the details, I think that's where we stand. I believe the board has a couple of choices that we need to make tonight. One of them would be, do you want to do a site walk and walk that section? In the past, you talked about the buffer and where the buffer's going. I think that would be a good idea. Give everybody a higher level of confidence that what you're looking at. We can look at driveway entrances at the same time. We would like to schedule a public hearing so that if there's any other issues out there that the public may have, and then the board talked about doing peer review on some of the items, that could be discussed tonight, and if that could move forward, if that's where the board wants to go, we would see that as a positive step forward. With those sort of three issues on the table, I think that moves it forward and lets the board discuss it.
If you wouldn't mind just giving us a few minutes to review
Yeah,
what we just discussed, and
I just,
Brian?
Yeah, the only other pieces of information that we do need, I believe, is the fire department was contacted, but
I think they came there.
As a superintendent?
the superintendent, superintendent, and as well as, it says in our ordinance, it says chief of police, but we don't have. So,
There's information on the school district already included, am I correct?
we provided a response to that section of the ordinance in the reviewing section 2, yeah, the narrative. What the board asked for is a list of construction and maintenance items, with both capital and annual operating cost estimates must be furnished by the municipality and quasi districts. The list shall include, but not limited to. That's where your list comes into play. This project has no roads, so there's no impact to the Public Works Department. The project may have one student to the school system. There's no change in the bus route piece, because there's no new roads. There are no changes to the fire protection in it. There's no need to add to that. Solid waste will be done by the residents, the same as in town. No new recreational facilities are planned for the project or required. Stormwater is controlled on site, so there's no impact to the town. And water and sewer are by the residents overall. So there'll be minimal cost impacts to the municipal budget. And then the last thing I'd ask for is taxable value. We're guessing at $250,000 per house, which gives us about $1 million. So I think that responds to that particular item.
Yes.
I think that they've done an admirable job of addressing a lot of our concerns. However, there's one, for the conditions that we sent them in this prior letter, preliminary subdivision approval conditions, I don't know if they've addressed the land at all, which is number 4, retained land. Final plan must include a concept plan outlining future use and or development of the remainder parcel. That has sort of been a
So the piece that
35
that Nate
acre.
will be keeping,
Yeah.
28.6 acres, that's 28.06 acres.
So that strikes me as something where, unless I missed it,
Yeah, we have discussed putting some type of moratorium on building on that.
well, it's up to them to come to us with, their suggestions, but if I missed it,
Yeah, in section 4, very last page of section 4, our proposal is not exactly what was on the condition preliminary approval, which was, well, it said no development, and that's in here. That the condition also said no logging without coming before the planning board, and our proposal is as long as we meet certain standards for logging, that we would not need to come to the planning board for that. But that's a substantive issue to be discussed. We have submitted something on that.
Oh, so it's not clear to me, Mr. Austin, I thought
Yeah.
that this was addressing the 8 acres.
Oh, no, this is the retained land. Probably
Okay.
should have put a heading on the top of that.
Yeah, I mean, we can note that, but nothing indicates.
So that's this last page here in section 4?
Yeah, the second
Yeah,
paragraph.
the land remains approved. Does that meet concern?
It addresses it, so in terms of completeness, I'm not saying that it was accepted per se, but yes, it addresses it.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for, but it's something we'll contact. Page 23.
It is right down
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
but that's within 6 months after the approval. All right. So the board shall notify the road commissioner, school superintendent, police chief, and fire chief of the proposed subdivision, the number of dwelling units proposed, the length of roadways, and the size and construction characteristics of multifamily, commercial, or industrial buildings.
there. Right, and that's all to be done after we determine the
That's what I was addressing, just want to make sure. And actually, I mean, so that piece from Kenny that's in here would take care of part of that. He's already, it's in writing, he's already in contact. Maybe if that was adequate, because that's their opportunity to say, well, the fire department added or something, so. They'll talk, that's what I want that, yeah, exactly.
Well, according to paragraph F, we do have 30 days within from today to issue a decision on this. I'd like to take the 30 days, or, you know, to the next meeting. It would give us time to get the,
To determine it complete, you mean?
yeah, we have 30 days from today to determine it complete. I think within that time, we could actually contact the other set of eyes that we wanted to put on the, some of this stuff.
Would you like to do the site walk as well?
I think we should do a site walk, yeah, I
Absolutely.
think we should. But, I don't know, should we schedule it, or should we?
We're gonna have to do it one way or another. I don't think at some point, this is gonna be ruled complete.
Right.
So we're gonna have to do the sidewalk. So we might as well schedule that. That's my input.
Yeah.
So my understanding is that the planning board is expected to hire independent consultants, and they're gonna take that site walk with us.
I don't know if we've discussed having them on the sidewalk. I thought basically what they would do is actually review the material.
Correct.
I know that.
So will this come later? Because this is part of the, agreement. That we were gonna hire.
Yeah.
That will come later after we.
Once we decide, we agree that we have to accept it, and then I think we move forward with
hire a
deciding
consultant.
what needs to be reviewed.
Yeah, the first decision is all the material that we need here. And then once we do or don't decide, if we do decide that, we move forward with the actual content of the plan itself. And that's when we get our third set of eyes, findings of facts, and all of that. So the first phase is just, is it complete or not?
Right.
So me personally, I could not vote on that tonight. I would abstain if we had that vote tonight. I would prefer to have the time allotted to us to actually examine the application. But I don't know how the rest of the board feels about that.
I have some comments that I want everybody to address yours first.
Correct.
I mean, I could go along with that, I guess. I just, as long as if we do that, then, I mean, we're setting that date where we are gonna make that vote, in which case.
Yes, yeah, we would have to make a decision by the next.
Yeah, which means we should, I think, we should go ahead and schedule, like, the sidewalk
Right.
and all that, I mean, so that it's all happening in the right timeline. I don't wanna just keep,
I'd like to look at the process. My inclination was not to accept this until we had the returns from the consultants, but I understand what you're saying, and it makes sense.
Just a matter of.
So, if we were to postpone this decision, whether it's complete or not, for 30 days, it's unlikely we're gonna be able to, one, identify consultants, two, get feedback from them within 30 days.
Right, yeah,
So,
but yeah, it makes sense what
So-
you said, so we might not need to do that within the 30 days.
I'm thinking that, unless we find specific gaps that we can demonstrate, because we're not talking about the content, we're talking about its presence.
Right, yeah, if you guys feel that you've examined it enough to call it complete, go ahead and vote. I don't feel I've examined it enough. I did not pick it up earlier in the week like I should have, so I can say maybe if I would have done that, I might feel comfortable, but I would just abstain from the vote.
And before there is a vote, I have a couple more comments to make.
I also have questions regarding certain things in the application as it stands that I'd like to ask. One is just a very simple typo in the first section.
In the cover letter.
On waivers. Does the applicant intend to request waivers for any individual submission requirements? Yes. Down below, if yes, list them, it says no waivers are being requested. I think it's just a simple mistake, but could you clarify that first?
Yeah.
Which one?
May I request any waivers?
Section 2, correct?
Section 2, yeah.
Section 2.
Towards the end, the waiver, D3.
Yeah.
Right,
So it says, yes, with circle, but maybe,
Yeah.
We meant no.
Should circle no.
And I guess the only other question I have, the landscape plan you submitted is just documented on this sheet? There's no written narrative, is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. So I will, the other comments are more on substantive issues, so in terms of completeness, that's all I have.
I mean, I have reviewed it all, so I mean, unless someone else has seen something that's missing, I don't have any questions on the completeness of it. I think the only one I have is what I brought up. I don't know the answer.
No, I mean, I was able to review it as well. You know, I believe that we could move forward with a vote of completeness.
Cliff wanted to speak.
But that's
Okay.
comments.
I'm Cliff Krolik, I'm an associate member of this group, and I've been, for the last several months, the chairperson of the Comprehensive Planning Committee. Our current comprehensive plan states that the property we are talking about is in the rural zone. Let me read what our current plan says for rural. I want this to be known. Rural, this land use is intended for working farms and forests, as well as limited rural residential development. Limited rural residential development. This land use is intended for areas which lack municipal water and sewage and are not expected to have this service. Rural areas are considered to have soils with only a medium potential for low-density development. In general, although there may be soils with both a higher or lower potential, but in general, larger lot sizes are needed. These areas may lack good transportation access and may be farmed or forested. Minimum lot size may be based on soil conditions with wetlands, steep slopes, or soils with severe development constraints, not being included in the minimum calculations. Another approach is setting a larger minimum lot size, such as 2 acres, cluster development, might be permitted based on soil suitability. And I would like everybody to note the fact that on this map, it is clearly in the rural area. Also, on the soil map, there is a speck of land right here that this development will be on that is extremely low density for development. If we move ahead with this, we're not going to be working with our current comprehensive plan. Okay? So this is stuff to consider, whether you vote for it or not.
We're not voting for
But
it.
not whether or not.
I
the
know you're
application's
voting for
complete.
the application, but I understand that.
Can I ask you, Cliff,
Sure.
is it low density development clearly delineated what that means in terms of lot size?
Yeah, well, in terms of large development or small development. Large development would be anything over 2 or 3 homes over this.
That's spelled out in there?
That's,
No, no.
that's, I mean, that's your interpretation of it.
Right. Well,
We
when
can
it's clear,
address
not
that
clearly, you
when we
you
get
can
to the
address.
substantive discussion.
Yeah.
But a comprehensive plan, I think you guys know, is kind of like a constitution, a general outline.
Yeah,
the
it's
details
giving
and the-
you, right.
And the details are in the zoning ordinance, which
That's
this is
correct.
allowed.
We have to follow the ordinance, and if,
You,
we do, so we have to make, so whatever decision we're gonna be based on, we're gonna vote on, whatever decisions we make, we need to be based off of our ordinance. If our ordinance conflicts
with
the
the comprehensive
comprehensive
plan,
plan, well, that's a whole other issue, but my understanding and looking at the way some of the case law and the various legal decisions that come out, is generally it's, the courts have said you gotta go by what your ordinances are, even if there's a conflict. This is just what I've read. So, I'm not saying we gotta ignore that, but whatever language you see there, we need to look through this to find out where that comes into play. Because ultimately, I believe in whatever decision I make is on any application, is me based off of what our ordinance is. Because that's,
well, we will have to do some homework in addition. I did my homework, and I know what this comprehensive plan is asking.
so, I mean, it's something we'll talk about, I think, but it's, you know, it's no one's cruising ahead on anything until, this is the next step. And, you know, that's why we'll talk about what.
You know, in light of all the missteps that this organization has put in our face, and, you know, we wanna
try to,
Find some other stuff.
have an even playing field here.
We can discuss all that in the future.
Yeah, but that's what.
You guys need to decide, if you're gonna vote on this or complete. Like I said, I think I would have to abstain from that vote tonight. But there's enough of you here to actually vote on it without me.
Well, I make a motion then to accept this application as complete.
Second.
All those in favor? Please note that the application has been considered complete. I'd say we move forward into scheduling a public hearing and a site walk. So that's 2 notifications in the paper. Let's just pull up the calendars.
Do you need 2 notifications for the sidewalk? That I'm not
For the
sure.
public hearing.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, we ran into that last.
You order the site walk first, then public hearing?
Yes, that would.
That would make sense.
Makes the most sense, but that's something that people can discuss. Questions.
Well, let me ask this before we start scheduling. Has everything been marked out on the sites?
It can be. It's been marked out several times, and I can't guarantee what's out there, so
Okay.
we need to do it again.
All right, yeah, I would just, for all
Yeah.
parties' sake, just to make sure that all the Ts are crossed.
Yeah.
Is are
And the
dotted.
driveways too. They
Yeah,
would
we'll
be-
mark out the driveways for sure, and show you where those are coming in. I think those are important. And I think when we walk along where the buffers is, it's pretty clear where the skidder went and there's no trees, and where there are trees growing.
So, I understand the timing of everything again, the site walk. Well, we would be able to get a notice in the 24th of July.
The earliest,
Yeah,
Oh,
you tell
you
us.
can
You
push
got, you got the magic here. What day? You tell us when we do.
I would also propose, obviously a weekend date,
Yeah.
in the morning,
Morning.
because at night, site walk review is not gonna do us any good.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the 27th or 28th would be the,
So Saturday or something.
Saturday or Sunday, 27th or 28th.
Busy couple of days.
Yeah, so that,
30th, we've got that. Then NJ stuff, so, what's the date again?
Saturday, 27th?
Can we do that, Lindsay? That fits our timeline?
yep, that would fit your timeline. I don't know if you need me to attend, I probably won't be able to, but I don't think you need me to attend that though.
Time?
12 o'clock.
Come on, man, that's like right in the middle of
That's
the-
like, it's starting to get dark. It's going the other way.
Propose like 9 or 10?
6:30.
Yeah,
6:38.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's part of the day.
10? Okay,
You want 10 a.m.?
10 a.m., the 27th.
It's July, right?
27th?
Yes, July 27th.
Should you denote a rain date in the ad, just in case?
Yes.
I mean, we've had a lot of things happen with
Yeah.
the last time
You
off
never
with
know.
snow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Wait.
true, the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think we need to, the more we can pre-plan.
Right, I mean, we had these guys show up for a site walk in the snow that was canceled, 4%.
So, I mean, what do you propose?
I don't know, do you just put a little note in the ad saying, the rain date would be the next weekend or something? So we wouldn't have to go through the cycle of putting new ads out.
Yeah, just make it Sunday morning. Do it
Do
Sunday
you
at
want to
10.
just do it the next day?
I'm down with
I
that.
can't make it Sundays, but you guys will be all right without me.
Well,
I got church.
I know, but we can do another day then.
They do it
You
the
can
following
do it
day.
on Sundays if you want.
Following
We can do that.
August 3rd,
Why don't we do the following Saturday then,
okay.
as a rain date,
Same time?
same time?
Yeah.
I wasn't suggesting that you come on us and that, but they do a different day.
Nah.
You're gonna do the public hearing on the typical night that the planning board meets.
I don't know.
Thoughts?
I like the idea.
It's just keeps the calendar a little more streamlined, but.
I mean, what do you
When
think
we
about,
have, although I don't know, maybe we should.
About-
I think we're gonna need our meetings, we're
Yeah,
gonna
we
need
need
our,
another
yeah,
meeting.
we're gonna need our meetings, we can't do that. We should do a different thing.
so maybe the public hearing could be the following Saturday from the sidewalk? You know, if that would-
Well, you need two
So the
notifications.
31st is, so July 31st would be the second notification.
And the last one has to be at least 7 days prior to the meeting. So I think
So that puts us on the August 7th.
7th would be the
first.
earliest.
I'm gonna ask that we, the sidewalk I can't make, but that's fine. I don't need, what do I know about the site? But the public hearing, I would like to be here, and I'm gone until August, I'm back August 11th, Sunday the 11th. So if we could put the public hearing off till that week of the 12th, I'd appreciate that.
So, let's see. So the 13th would be that Tuesday, or I mean, yeah, so any day that week.
I appreciate that.
Actually, is that is the first or second? It's the first Tuesday's our workshop, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Tuesday, so. And then the 20th is our next meeting.
Correct.
We just want to do the public hearing on the 20th then before our meeting.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything scheduled. It's been kind of slow.
You're gonna have a site plan review for that one.
On the 20th?
Yep.
So, do we do it before 13th then? So,
You got
workshop on the
any
2nd.
suggestions, Rob? What do you think would matter to you, the 13th?
13th or 20th, doesn't matter if you want to do it the 20th.
Maybe the 20th, if that'll work for
At 5
him?
o'clock or something.
Is that a Saturday? the 20th?
The 20th
No,
is the
it's a
Tuesday, it's
Tuesday.
it's the same day as our
Right, that is
regular meeting.
I don't care, you guys pick it,
Right.
pick it.
I just think we're gonna need a meeting.
Yeah.
We're gonna need a meeting.
Okay.
We're gonna
So,
You're right.
When we do it, what was it, the 13th, or is that?
13th? 13th?
Way fast.
Alright, Tuesday the 13th, at 7? Does that work for you? Cause I.
Yeah.
Tuesday 13th. That's gonna be Tuesday 11th. I'm on vacation, I can do that one. Alright.
So Nate, there
Yes.
are 2 receipts in JP's packet. One would say receipt that the application was received, and the other one is receipt of a complete application, which you can just sign them and.
See that thing with the sticky? Okay.
Oh, these are the minutes. Hold up. Receipt of subdivision application. Yes, I have those.
Alright.
That's good, remaining.
And you can sign them as acting chair or, you know, whatever, however you feel fit.
They need to be signed out.
Well, I think the way it's written in the ordinance is you
Yeah.
give it in the meeting, but
Right. That's it. Believe that is.
and you can give those receipts right to them. They can take them with them. Thank you.
Do you need to make copies of them?
I already have copies.
Oh, you already have copies?
Thank you.
I thought we needed copies of the Okay.
Yeah. Is he? to examine.
Yeah.
This is what I was looking for.
Good service.
There are a few other things. I looked up on density too that I had at home. There were some other things that I had.
He is, he just lost track of it, so he had
There are some other things that need to be on density too that are addressed.
Or maybe my own beer, I tried to get you back.
Yeah. I have read in my stuff almost a year.
I do, yeah, I wanted to make it, what'd you make? Because, now it's gonna be. I don't know.
I'll get back to it. I had a dream about it.
It's
important stuff.
Yeah, well, I've been pretty comprehensive, because it's actually now really addressed to
Anything that.
Right, I think the method there is you adjust your ordinances to comprehensive plan for the process that's
That's
laid
why
out
you
for
guys,
that.
that's why you guys have to start thinking about one or two of you guys coming.
Right, yeah, I wanted, the ones you have on Saturday, I could make, we have them Saturday, when they're like 8 on.
I know,
Saturday.
we couldn't come, we'll see if early, I don't know if we can get another Saturday. It's hard.
Yeah, I know, it's hard to get everybody.
Alright, so yeah.
So moving on.
Yes.
Yeah, so, planning board budget. I don't really know so much about this.
Well, you just have to look at it, right?
So,
I got a question.
yeah.
On this budget, doesn't, we got like,
Sorry, I can't hear, there's a lot of talking going on.
Guys, we're moving on. Is there anything you'd like to address?
nope,
Thank you, sorry.
on the budget, the legal fees, don't they come back out of that escrow account and back into our, no?
From what the select board tells me, no, they come out of the planning board budget. So one of the ways to avoid that is to try to use like MMA first. And then I believe Southern Maine Planning consultation fees will come out of escrow. And, I mean, we can ask the select board for more information on that, it's just what I've been told.
Yeah, I was under the impression that, but I just didn't.
Yeah,
that was-
maybe ask
That was an
Tiffany.
assumption on my part, I think.
How are we gonna go about making sure we have enough money to start doing our research?
What was the question?
He's talking about the escrow account for Watson Woods and us hiring the independent contractors.
So in JP's packet, he has well, I can tell you the escrow balance, they have a remaining balance from their last applications, it's somewhere near $4,000.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
well more than enough.
So they don't need to
Yeah.
submit any
No,
more.
that's fine.
So we've got funds.
So, and I do believe what we're hiring is somebody to review the paperwork that they've submitted, I don't know if we've even discussed hiring somebody to come on the sidewalk.
Well, I mean, the thing is, what you do is, you have to, you hire somebody, you have to ask them a question. Maybe I need to review this.
Right.
Or whatever,
Right.
you ask them a question, and then they'll do what they need to do.
Right.
And then if they need to go, over there, and they need to go walk it, they'll go walk it.
For a biological study, I think that's gonna.
Right, well, I remember David Laurie said that they only check methodology. At least that's what I recall him saying. I don't know, I guess we'll.
But they can, but if they're reviewing it, they can go and do it. I mean, if they need information,
We can recommend.
they can go do
We
it.
can recommend that they see and adjust or require the sidewalk. One of us can meet them for this time.
No, I'm just saying that they'll go out and do what they need to do. They need to get information, they can go do it. They don't need, that's,
Right.
the applicant's essentially giving them permission to do that.
Right.
So,
So
it
just-
won't be a discussion with them, they'll just go get what they need and then they'll help us.
Right.
Just to kind of touch base on the escrow, so, in addition, the application shall pay a fee of $250 per lot or dwelling unit to be disposed in a special account designated for the subdivision application, to be used by the board for hiring independent consulting services to review the application. So, I think,
That's pretty broad.
yeah.
That means if you hire me to review something, I can tell you how much it's gonna
But
cost.
does
and what I'm
is that
gonna
broad
do.
enough? Is that broad enough to, I guess, because I think we were all on the assumption that it would go to lawyer fees. So, I mean,
You were saying, is that broad enough to cover them going to a site or doing that thing?
no, just in regards to Andy's, question about the lawyer fees and that it didn't come out of the escrow account. Because I think I was under the impression as well that the lawyer fees.
Yeah, the lawyer, I would think they should.
But it specifically says in the text you read that the independent consultants will come out of that, right?
Right.
Yes,
So,
so independent consultants, yes, 100% per this text.
Right.
Is that broad enough?
No, he's not a consultant.
He's a
He's not a consultant. And this came up, it's come up, he's not, he even said so, he's like, you can't legally call me consultant, because I'm a lawyer.
Right.
You know.
So, yeah, it is what it is.
He's not reviewing, he's providing legal advice, not reviewing,
Right.
Yeah. No, this came up to me before, and he
Sure.
even said, nah, you can't.
Fair enough, yes.
Yeah, we do have to pay for them out of our own pocket, the legal
Okay.
fees.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
I just want to inject one thing, I don't know how in depth you read the Habitat biologic study that they had done, but you worked for a logging organization, that was their expertise.
We can't discuss particulars without the
Yeah, I was
applicant here
gonna-
right now,
yeah.
so
I
I
think
think we
You have to move on from Watson Woods.
yeah,
We'll make a decision.
We're talking about
At our
budget.
next meeting, we can start talking about this, but we just need to let them know, to get their application, that's it. But we have to get into the substance of all this when they're.
without getting into any substance, we do have a process we're gonna need to follow. We've gotta identify some consultants. And we're gonna draft a list of questions, right? So what's gonna be our mechanism for doing that? You wanna task it out?
I think you need to identify what things you wanna have.
Workshop it, like at your next
And
workshop.
I think at the next workshop, we can,
Exactly.
bring, something.
I guess what I would suggest is, everybody look through this and decide, come up with their list of what they think needs to be.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying we do or don't, one way or the other, but it doesn't necessarily have to be every single thing. We have to find what we want to review, what we have initially. I can tell you certain things that I personally wouldn't feel need, just because I have an understanding of how they're created. Other things I might not, so I would just, then we can.
So we're gonna do that next
discuss and say,
workshop?
Yeah, so
Okay,
that's
that
the
makes
next
sense.
workshop, we'll
Okay.
task out the,
The consultant.
So does that mean we're having workshops every first Tuesday? Because I think I missed the last one, I just wasn't
Yeah,
aware.
we've been scheduling them just so that we can do it
Right,
without,
right.
and that's why I was hesitant to lose the one, because I really feel like we're gonna need that time to get into
right,
this.
yeah,
to
so
deal with
first Tuesday of the month, we have just a standing workshop.
Right.
And
It's just
unless, I would say like the meeting before that workshop, we just don't have anything going on.
Right.
We could, at that point, discuss like, yeah, we're not gonna use this one,
Right.
but it is a standing workshop.
And so that way we get the advertisements covered.
So I got a question, there's a hot potato issue.
Okay.
Chair, JP's gonna leave and nobody really wants the chair position. I mean, we've gotta come to grips with that at some point, maybe at the next workshop, we can discuss it.
Yeah.
And, I
Well,
think,
he's voted chair at least until
August,
August,
right.
so we got
maybe the
some
next
time.
workshop.
2 weeks.
I nominate Rick Sullivan for chair.
Honestly, if it comes down to it, I think everybody else is a little bit busier than me, I might be able to do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't enjoy it, I would call the rest of the board to rein me in when necessary, but we'll get it figured out the next one.
Alright, so budget,
Budget.
obviously we have consultant fees, legal fees, we have our advertisements. I think the only thing we would want to make sure we ask for to be put into the next budget is, the recording equipment. We have been, using interviews, which, again, we want to ensure that as the board progresses, that it's something owned by the town. Could also be used for selectmen meetings as well. I think it'd be something that, I don't know if I'm to address this to you
Well,
specifically, or.
That what you do is you tell us that you wanna get the equipment and then you make the purchase if it's in your budget. And then we approve the payment of it, and that's basically.
Didn't we go through that whole process already, Nate?
Yeah, basically someone has to front the costs first.
Or, yeah, sometimes we do, at several different locations, we do have accounts. So we also have a credit card that people use, yeah. So you may not have to front it.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys wanna ask for an increase in the budget.
I think we're going to, need to, I mean, only because, you know, I mean, obviously, there's been a lot going on in the last 6 months. A lot of
Yeah, I mean-
stuff. And there's been a lot, and we're starting to use our workshop time more and more, and that's why this is reflected, I mean.
There's two budgets going on here too. There's your planning board budget, and then there's a separate payroll one, which covers the cost of the assistant, and then you guys attending all your meetings.
Right.
So if you think you're gonna show up to, averaging 3 meetings a month and what that's gonna cost,
I mean, yeah, I mean,
You went over on the
averages
payroll
too
budget
now,
as well.
at least.
I'd also I would suggest personally that the chair position be compensated higher.
it used to get a stipend. They don't anymore.
Because, you know, from what I've seen of JP.
Yeah, no, right, it is,
It
there's
takes
more
some
burden
time.
to-
Yeah, I was gonna suggest that too, but I also will say that if you have the right person over here, it changes things a lot, and I think we do.
Right.
I mean,
But the chair does still seem to
They should.
take the brunt of the abuse in the room.
That's But as far as workload goes, I think the really big thing is making sure that we've got a good admin person working with us, and that person,
Check.
they're. I mean, we're utilizing that. I'm not trying to like burden you, but I mean, no, I mean, Lindsay can take care of a lot of this stuff, and honestly, I think that when a lot of times, you're the contact person, right? Someone comes with an application. I would much rather be hearing timelines and schedule, like, as far as I'm concerned, you should just be telling us, you guys need to do this by this date.
And Lindsay came in late to
Yeah,
the game,
so
so
she,
JC was.
yeah, she's
working
picking up,
it out,
and then JP's,
I
he
think-
said that to me, he feels like since he's been here, his workload's gone way, way easier.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not saying I shouldn't.
And I think with the standard of procedure, like, you probably just wanna come up with a backup plan as to like when you don't have an assistant, just who's responsible for what,
Right, it's when they're all done.
yeah. That's I think, yeah.
But like if you're on vacation or.
Right,
yeah,
or, you
ill.
guys went 3 months or so, or whatever,
I
without
think
one.
if you're on vacation, one member of the select board should in rotation.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Alright, so if I'm looking at this correctly then, for our payroll, we're just shy of 2,000 over budget for the year
So far,
so far.
or no, this
That's
is,
the year's
this is our fiscal year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was because it was.
But that includes your wages and salary too?
And your guys is showing up to meetings,
Yeah.
so like the more, if you think you're gonna average out 3 meetings a month, that's gonna increase the cost.
And
And
then
plus you have
our
to-
expenses were just over 2 grand
Yeah.
over budget. So
Your budget was what?
it was 4,000.
For salaries and,
Now,
for salaries
Again.
and wages, it was 4,000.
over,
Well,
that
budget and
alone-
salary are separate.
Yeah.
That
okay, so we're
alone
looking at both.
was taken up by the legal fees.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we need to, I mean, I think we should request an increase, but I don't know if we need to request, because if we don't, it'd be nice to be able to use the lawyer and feel like we can, but I don't know if we always need to.
No,
And we all learned a little bit.
No, but I
This
think,
particular-
I think the problem too is like, from what I gather, just looking at all, like kind of looking back at it all, that I don't know how to put this, but I feel like maybe those were legal fees that probably should have been spread out over the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
nobody was using the lawyer, so we had to, and I feel very good about our decision
I
to
do as well.
involve the lawyer because, I just.
We feel good about your decision to
It's
involve.
gonna cost money, but I don't think it's gonna be a continuing expense. I think we need to get this, we need to get on, and a lot of it,
A lot of it was we were
And this brings
new and
into
put
the points
into
that you're
a
bringing
really
up, that, I
tough
mean,
situation.
all this stuff is, any of these connections, like, that's where I definitely wanna make sure we have legal advice, and that we're doing it not, because I don't wanna use my opinions. I wanna use my understanding of the facts.
Sure.
Because my opinion about things is not always how I look at the facts.
And
It's not always the same.
we may need to have that lawyer, especially.
Well,
with
and I
stuff
know
that
you
got
guys
pulled
don't
out.
always like MMA that much, but that is a free
I have no
consultation
problem. I have
service.
no-
And worst case
Their legal
scenario, they
advice
could
has been
say,
great,
we
usually.
don't have an answer for you, contact your lawyer.
Yeah, but
You know,
insurance
or if you don't
plans
like
is
their
still-
answer, you can
Can I ask
seek
you,
other options.
Tiffany, if the lawyer was not under retainer, couldn't we use the fees from the escrow? I mean, why is, I'm
Because-
just asking out of ignorance.
Because he's not a consultant.
I understand that, but why couldn't he be a consultant and save the town less money?
I think just because it's
It
the
depends,
lawyers.
yeah, now, some lawyers will actually do that, okay, put somebody on retainer but this guy gets X amount of dollars an hour, I don't know what he went up to recently, he went up to,
A lot.
but, yeah. And that's how he works as a lawyer, he's our lawyer, he's another town's lawyer, he's another town's lawyer, but he doesn't work as a consultant. There are lawyers that will do that, he just doesn't.
Yeah, but in other words, if we just hired, we wanted to say have a lawyer who had specific expertise in some subject matter that we were looking at, that would be, he would be a consultant, but he represents the municipality.
His presence as a town lawyer sort of argues against that unless we can get very specific as to what expertise that is. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can't make an end run around.
I know he has said he cannot legally be considered a consultant.
Okay.
Because he represents the municipality, he represents the institution of the town of Park, corporation of Parkersfield.
Alright.
That's his job. He isn't here as a consultant. He could give us legal advice, and that's a kind of consultation, but he's not a consultant. I mean, we could hire a lawyer, though, who just reviews one specific thing.
Well, we may be getting into that with another situation where we're gonna be doing a TIF district maybe. And if we do that, David Laurie doesn't really have a lot of expertise in that area, so we're gonna have to hire a lawyer as a consultant for TIF district.
Right.
What is the TIF district?
It's a TIF, I'm TIF,
Yeah.
no, it's a tax incentive financial program. So, yeah, it's a way to help people that are, like the mill. We're not getting taxes from the mill right now anyhow. So to delay them paying taxes 5 years or 10 years, the money still comes in, but we may return it to them to beautify the sidewalks or to do something with landscaping or to make
How
sure
about
that.
my taxes? Can we work out a TIF district?
Yes, we're gonna work on that right now. No, but that's only, I would never even consider doing it, although there were people that asked us. The Province Lake Golf Club, they wanted to do a TIF district when they had their fire. But no, because they were already a going concern. Only in an area where we're not already getting taxes would I even consider doing that. But we need a lawyer. And that's gonna cost us between $10,000 and $15,000. So we're trying to work out a deal where they pay that $10,000 or $15,000 and we'll consider that part of their TIF tax. So that's what a TIF district is. And it's through the state has to approve it, and we've already gotten approval from the state. Then the townspeople have to approve it, so we do have to have a town meeting about it, that's what the TIF district is. But that again is hiring a lawyer as a consultant. And he's not, he or she, this is a woman, it was a man we were talking to first, but she is not a municipal lawyer, she does, this is her thing, she does TIF districts. So
I think we should bear that in mind as a board anytime if we have a real rationale to hire a consultant lawyer, we save the town money.
Right. Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
definitely-
But we then we have to, we gotta find that person, we gotta be,
Right.
yeah.
So utilizing MMA ahead of time.
I know one. That's Leah Ration. Oh yeah, she's very, very good. Municipal lawyer, town lawyers. She's in a firm and everything.
Yeah, I mean, so anything to answer the question is as long, if we're hiring a lawyer to provide specific consultation on something, then I think we can consult, but not our town representative.
Should we wrap up the budget?
Yeah, so I think the bottom line is, yes, we, would like to ask for an increase. I
Okay.
don't know if we have to
So-
say how much.
I'm gonna draft
But
up
like-
something to give to the select board,
Yeah.
to give to the budget committee.
Yeah, I
So
think-
if you
I
guys
think that
wanna
would
come
be
up with a number.
I would say, let's just,
Any number I come up with would be based off of what's here, and
Right,
then making it
so-
so, I trust you,
so I would say,
I trust you.
if payroll if payroll's over budget by 2,000, I'd say at minimum of 2,000.
Right,
And
I
then
don't know.
again, it's hard to say with the other because I don't expect the additional lawyer fees here, so I
you
almost.
may not have another subdivision,
Right.
again, for your whole terms. You
Right.
never-
You have
So-
some,
We had one the whole time that I was,
yeah, I mean, you have some ordinances you wanna work on
So
in the
we should
future,
go
but
through some more.
Yes, we should go through
In
some
regards to
ordinances,
large and small.
but again, ads, so our budget was 4,000, our ads were 1,000. Training was $275, office supplies $21, and miscellaneous $30. So I mean, that's, we basically have like another 25, pretty much like $2,500.
I mean, I would recommend increasing it, the cost of like, equipment you wanna buy, you know, and I gave you an invoice.
Right, yeah, I see here.
I'm gonna recommend that, if she's willing, on her time, to have Lindsay draft a suggested budget. I don't think we have any more, I mean, we all looking at this stuff.
Tuesday is our next budget.
Yeah, I'm gonna
She
probably
can-
get one tomorrow.
She can sit down there and you can, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can think about it, I'm sure you'll consider that stuff too, I mean,
Okay,
personally, I would just assume have you come up with a draft and we can, if we feel like we need to add to it, but I think that's really probably, I think for us, I think for everybody, would be the best way to start,
okay.
you know? You know, I'm not, I mean,
I don't
No,
mind, I
right,
kinda
right.
already did
That's-
all the
right,
Yeah.
financial work on it, so.
yeah, so yeah, exactly, you put in a lot of time, you kinda understand what all the inputs are and maybe where we might need it, so.
Thank you, folks, I gotta run,
Thank
my
you.
ride is here.
I have an
Can't
appointment.
drive these days,
I also have
Lyme
an
disease.
appointment.
So, okay.
Take care, guys.
Alright,
Thanks,
we'll be
Cliff.
getting into this.
Yep, Cliff.
So, workshop details, basically what we did was, we went through what JP had provided from MMA as like the planning board bylaws.
Right.
We updated some wording because it seemed a little too, I wanna say strict, but too like legalese almost. And just, so we kind of made some layman's terms adjustments. Do we have a draft of that draft still, or
The one.
Do you guys have it
worked off
still,
of
I
the
guess?
Samples?
the bylaws that,
Yeah, I've got it somewhere, you might.
um,
You got to take off right now?
Yeah, I don't think you guys need me for your budget.
No, but I mean, I had a question for you, but are you taking off?
Yeah.
You gotta go, you gotta go, I'll take it. I don't know how long we'll be.
I can wait.
Won't be a minute or two.
yeah, I mean,
Right.
I guess, you know,
I'm good.
do you
I'm
feel,
good, Jesse, don't worry about it, I'm good. It's
um,
nothing to have, I'll catch up with you.
I think at this point, we just needed to have, we'll just need to have it, finalized from with the minutes that we had. And then I believe what you said from MMA, if I remember that email, that sent us home, we'll just, as a board, vote in the
Yeah.
bylaws.
Yeah.
So
But
let
you
these
guys
guys
wanted
get
to
copies, get a
define-
chance to review it, we can vote next meeting, does that seem fair?
Yes.
Instead
Well,
of
did you
having
guys
a
wanna
workshop.
define like the standard of procedure of things? I think that's what JP was talking about with like taskers, like figuring out like, how do you send out a butter notices, or
Yeah.
what do you do in this situation?
But does that need to be, like, cause we could have the bylaws, but then we can have an SOP separately, right? So I mean, I think we can, next meeting,
Develop.
we could vote on the bylaws and
Okay.
then we can start tasking out the actual SOPs of everything.
Right.
So,
And we can do that in our workshop.
okay. So the next workshop is gonna review the bylaws and then consultants for Watsonworth?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that means those guys, well,
No, I think we pretty much got approval to find consultants.
Right.
I don't know if we need to
I
have
think-
them here to.
I think it would be at least wise of us to send an
Notify
email
them.
saying
Yeah,
that at this
notify
workshop, we will be discussing
Yeah.
consultants.
consultants, but not substantive matters of your.
And they can always watch the tape if they want to
Right,
actually
so-
see what's
They,
going
we
on.
gotta let them know.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
Lindsay, are you able
We're
to send
kinda
an email to
closing
them,
down.
or is that something
Sure.
JP would send, or?
Yeah, I can send that. Yeah.
Cool, so, yeah, workshop details,
Oh, you're gonna, get Sean.
I guess at this point then,
Motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn,
Second.
all those in favor? Sounds good, holy crap.
That was a long hour.
So the first Tuesday of next month was a workshop, we'll be
Yeah.
that's the next one.